Good afternoon. Today is the 5th of May and I'm at Summit Garage here in Dudley in West Midlands. Seem to be here a lot over the last 18 months or so. And this is a 1991 MG Maestro 2-litre EFI. It's currently for sale at Summit Garage. There's really not a lot of these MG Maestro 2-litre EFIs left. This is a really late one. It's a 91, and I think they finished production late 91, early 92. Obviously the Maestro continued a little bit longer after that, but the MG models were sort of superseded by things like the Rover 216 and 416 GTI. So if we get inside, you will have seen a Maestro on my channel before, because I did a 1985 Maestro 1.6 Vandenpla automatic on No Budget Reviews last year. This is the later dash. This came in January 86, I think, something like that, and it's completely different from the earlier one. This is the one I remember the most because my grandfather had a series of Maestros, never an MG, but a series of things like a Mayfair and a Vandenpla, and towards the end a Special and all sorts of things. So I do know these quite well. So many things I remember, like this ashtray that sort of pivots around like that. Little digital clock there, which just faintly shows the time at the moment. The switches like this, and the electric window switches, which are just near the gear lever. 5-speed manual PG1 gearbox in this car. It's not a Volkswagen gearbox like some of the other Maestros were. As you can see, we've got the later instruments. I don't think the car's got any charge in the battery at the moment, so I'm not going to try to start her. The heating ventilation controls are just sort of here, where the driver can't actually see them. You actually can't see them if the steering wheel is centered like that. You can't see ventilation controls at all. You've got to do that. That's a really, really strange ergonomic choice. I mean, you can adjust the fan speed easily enough, but you literally can't see the heat and ventilation controls there. You can feel for them. It's a really strange choice that they made with the later dashboards. Like a lot of other cars as well, of this sort of era, the rear wiper controls are actually down here. They're not on the stalk. These stalks will be familiar to people who love Metros, Maestros and Montegos. I think they came in to the Mark II Metro, which would have been in the mid-80s. In fact, this dashboard does look a lot like a Mark II Metro dashboard. It's not exactly the same, but there's the same sort of theme going on. I remember these air vents and how they worked. Just these little controls like this, sort of flicked my hand. My grandfather's cars. Let's pull the door a little bit here. Just the interior release. I've got electric windows on this car, so just a blanking plate. Even little locking knobs, things like that. All these silly things you remember when you were a child. And I think that's a Rover 800 mirror control. That actually was also used in the Rover 25, you know, ages and ages later. And of course, the R3200 and the Rover 25 have a modified Maestro rear suspension. Original Philips stereo, which is period correct for this car. Glove box, absolutely huge, fit a ton of secret mission documents in that. Unfortunately, because this car is not owned by Summit Garage themselves, it's owned still by the owner, but he's asked Summit Garage to sell it for him. I'm not allowed to drive it, which is a real shame, because I am looking forward to driving more Maestros on the channel. I've got some coming up. They've been delayed a bit by, you know, what's been going on, but I am looking forward to having a go in some more. One of the things I really appreciate about Maestros, and this was true when I used to travel in my grandfather's car, sorry about the Honda ends there, was the fact that they were so spacious in the back. If I just move this bag out the way, there we go. I can sit behind myself. I'm 5'11", and I've got no problem stepping in at all. Mark III Escort is a real problem compared with this. And of course down here, because it's a 1980s car, we've got the ashtrays like that. No electric windows in the back. I don't think you could get electric windows on any type of Maestro at all, actually. I've got a manual sunroof. I'm not going to adjust that. Might pull that cover back a bit or something. So the interior lights should be working, but I think the battery's quite low, so that's probably why they're not on. Little coat hook as well. You know, these were driven by reps from down the country. The seat belts, which look sort of comically kind of afterthoughts, but of course, you know, when this car was launched in '83, you, I think, could get those on the higher trim ones. Lower ones would have been an option. It's such a different era, isn't it? Split folding seats, of course, no centre armrest, but this very, very nice fabric. Because we're in the MG model, we've got things like this sort of red piping in the interior. Now, it's not quite like an MG Maestro where you would have got the red seat belts. These are just the sort of standard beige colour. But yes, I really like this car. I love Maestros. I don't know what it is, but I really, really like them. And that's why you're going to see more of these on the channel, and possibly some Montegos. Now, I have tried the key in the boot. I think there's a separate key for the boot, which I don't have. I'm sure that it's somewhere else. For some reason I can't find it. If I manage to get in the boot, I will add that to the walk around a little bit later. Of the car, we can see that it's just lovely in this British Racing Green. I love this colour. Wheels are very similar to the ones that would have been fitted by the Rover Group to the R8 216 GTI. But you could also get them on a GSI as an option at the time, the very early R8s. I just love the style of these. Also used on a Maestro Advantage, I think, that was a sort of like a MG lookalike but a bit cheaper. One of my views actually has gotten a Maestro Advantage. It's a beautiful colour. I just love the look of this car. A bit dated by 1991 when this was made, but nevertheless just something of an iconic design of the time. Wonderful. So here is the 2-litre fuel-injected O series engine, which in this application develops 115 horsepower. The very early MG Maestros used a 1.6 engine, first the R series, which was terrible, then later replaced by the much better S series. I think all the R series 1.6 Maestros were then retrofitted with the S series later on. And then late '84, from what I remember, the 2-litre EFI came along. So no carburettor, electronic fuel injection, and the turbo version of this developed 152 horsepower. So these were both quite fast. 0 to 60 in this car was well under 10 seconds. I think it's about 9 seconds actually. Turbo was even quicker, what you'd expect from a power output like that. But lots and lots and lots of room to work on the engine, and masses of room compared with a modern car. And you can see the gearbox down there, PG1 gearbox. Of course, all the Lucas parts and things like that, and good old Austin Rover symbol down there too. Wonderful. Very, very happy indeed to be filming another Maestro today. So there we are. This lovely 1991 MG Maestro 2-litre EFI. They actually weren't called Austins at this stage. They weren't even called Rovers, really. They'd never wore the Rover name, but the sort of badge looked a bit like a Rover badge. It just said Maestro at the time, but obviously the MG was still there. And this was one of the last MG badge cars of its era before the TF came out in 1990. Sorry, the F came out in 1995, later the TF. And I've just enjoyed spending a bit of time with it. I'm looking forward to driving more Maestros later this year. So that's it. Thank you ever so much indeed to John New and the team at Summit Garage for letting me film this car. We've got lots more content at Summit Garage coming up as well. Please don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, and not a comment to say why can't you drive it, because I'd love to drive it, but this isn't their car, and so I haven't got permission to do that. Social media links are down in the description below, and thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.